You're on the page. Steht Elam Massive in Israel, Asher Yatzu Meretz Yisrael. These are the travelings of the Jewish people, and they left the land of Egypt. Maseh Lashon Rabin. Maseh, plural. That doesn't say they left. They made one traveling. A lot of travelings. It took them to get out of Mitzrayim. The question is that there was only one Masa, one traveling to get out of Mitzrayim. That was to go out of Ramses to go to Sukkot. One traveling. So why does it say that these are the travelings, plural, leaving Egypt? There's only one traveling.
Can I answer the question real quick? It's not the first time, since it's the bar here, and we know where they came from and where they went. And the Torah probably says all the here. The bar we know it goes over. Why do we have to know all of them? We got to there.
Very good. That's exactly where we're heading. So another thing we have to understand, like you're saying, what's the idea of the 42 journeys until they got to Eretz Yisrael, leaving Mitzrayim? Right when they left Mitzrayim, they're out of Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim, it says in Chassidus, is Mitzarim or Gvulim. Comes from the language of limits and boundaries. They got out of their limitations of boundaries of being subjugated to the Egypt mentality and everything. They got out of it. Took them one traveling. What's the idea of 42 journeys?
Have to do with the 49 traders or not?
I don't see. Maybe other places. Here it doesn't discuss it now. Yeah. So he said that there's a lot of levels, a lot of Egypts, and there's a lot of going out of Egypt. There's not only one level we're dealing with. There's a lot of different levels. The higher level, when you go to the higher level, the level before that is called Mitzrayim. When you go to even higher level, the level before that is Mitzrayim.
Why do I have to know that?
I have to know that because I have to know that even if I
already moved ahead, why am I looking back?
Oh, you're right. But I need it 100%. You're right. Let's phrase it better. If we're here today and we left Mitzrayim yesterday, we have to know today we have to leave today's Mitzrayim. That's it. That's right. Thank you.
So we're Mitzrayim today?
Yeah. Every day.
Each one of us individually and collectively.
Yeah, a little bit of Mitzrayim.
Which
From
means
the Gola to the
until
Gula.
we get to the Gula, we have many journeys on the way.
Wow.
So so it says that Torah is something internal. It's a lesson for every generation, especially the idea of leaving Egypt, which we know, everyone says that the person is Chayiv Adam Liris, says Atzmek Yilu Yatzam Mitzrayim. The person should always look, every generation is supposed to look at themselves as if they themselves left Mitzrayim. Now the Rebbe, according to Tanya before, he said, adds the word Yilu Yatzah Hayoim Mitzrayim, as if today he left the Mitzrayim. So what's that mean to us? It means that today we have to leave today's Mitzrayim. He used to be a chassid, and he used to say every night before he went to sleep, he used to say Kriya Shalmita, he used to think about what he did today. He'd say, Morgen geht sein Gott anders. Tomorrow is going to be totally different. Not that in the morning he woke up and said, tomorrow is going to be totally different.
Well, every day is a new day.
Right.
Every day is like another world.
Yeah.
Some connection to anything.
Right. So we have also now.
Question.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, I have to ask question.
Yeah. So we
Also, this is way for you to make things happen.
Oh,
We have to do our work. That's key. That's the key. We have to do our work in order to see something from it.
It's a border question.
How knows? You can't change that.
He says we'll understand it from Avedis HaTfilah, from davening. We know that the difference between Torah and Tfilah. Torah is God's wisdom. Came down into a way that we could sort of understand it. A man can understand it. So that's God coming down here to us. We just pick up the book and we connect with it. So that's called Mamayla Lamata. From above, God comes down here. Mamayla Lamata. Tefillah is Mamata Lamayla. Because it's like a ladder. It says by Yakid, there's a ladder on the ground going up to the sky. That's the ladder of davening. And we go up from higher and higher. Like we find in davening, there's many levels of going higher and higher.
Before, can you take a walking here?
It's a different Aveda, a different type of Aveda. It's sort of there's if you take water and you put it into you bring it into a pit, put it into a pit. You have water in the pit now, right? So that's like tefillah. Water came from a different place, from above, and it came down. Sorry, that's like Torah, and came into a pit, came down into this world. But then you didn't take water from a different place. You dug, and you found a well and a spring in the ground itself. Tefillah is about the person himself lifting himself up and revealing that spring and well and lifting which is inside of him. The person himself lifts himself up. He's not bringing from a different place. The Torah is more bringing from above, bringing down.
Do they meet? Does it meet? Do they both meet somewhere?
Mashiach comes on it. But that's a good question, very good question. This is a lot of lengthy discourses about what you're asking.
Right.
Mamayla, Lamata, Lamayla, where do they meet?
Yeah. They do. They go to
Yeah, this is a big topic, hot topic. Yeah. So here he wants to discuss tefillah. And so tefillah is going up on a ladder, going higher and higher. So the first part of davening is the preparation for davening. What's the preparation for davening? A person goes to daven to Hashem, which Hashem is unlimited. And the person finds himself in a very limited state. He finds himself in a body. The soul is in a body. And together with that, he has a package deal of a nefesh bahamis, animal soul, package deal. And especially if he's schmutzig with some Averis. So how's he going to come to daven in front of Hashem? Is so unlimited and so great. So he first has to free himself. He has to prepare himself. First, he has to free himself of all of his inyanim, all of his matters, and he has to go away from his being involved in himself, and realize and put himself in a state that to realize that he's standing before Hashem. So that itself, that a person is stellen sich davening, he calls it. He's putting himself in a state of davening. Before he's davening, before he starts davening, before he started saying Haidu or Matevo, before anything.
Like the social bubbles, right?
Yeah. He prepares his clothing, his garter, whatever it is. He prepares his clothing and he stands to daven. That itself, and he goes out of all of his matters, and that itself makes him edel, refines him. Which means he's going out of all of his limitations and the things he's involved in, and putting everything aside, and standing in front of Hashem.
Sometimes it's less emotionally difficult.
That's very difficult, and you could say, I heard the Yale Khan says it a lot. He says that could be the biggest jump in davening. The biggest jump to go out from everything you're dealing with and to put everything aside and to say, oh, now I'm davening. That's the biggest jump. You're going from one world to another world. Put your mind. That's the hardest and biggest jump.
Even if you don't feel like it.
Right. That's the biggest jump. If we forget that step, then you don't really start davening. But that's the biggest step. So you first went out of that limitations of all your matters and everything, and you stand in front of Hashem. That's the first leaving of Mitzrayim. But you can't stop there. You're going higher. But before that, he says, that's what it says, before davening, a person he goes to the bathroom, releases his needs, which means takes care of all the not good stuff, which means the ruchnis also, gets rid of all the not good stuff. He washes the Netilas Yadayim, gets rid of all the tumah, everything, before he davens. The person gets rid of all the matters, all the other matters, and he stands in front of Hashem.
Is it a real, I mean, is it a halacha? A very strong halacha. After washing hands, we got it, still on a roof, must or else you're not going to reach where you reach. And how does it really, how is it impact? I mean, not enough to impact it.
Well, in the morning,
in the morning. I'm not talking about this before, like mincha.
Oh, it's for mincha.
Yeah,
Mincha ma'ariv.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see it so much, but I don't know where you are, but what happens?
It's not as a big as chiyuv as in the morning. The morning is the main thing.
Yeah.
But
It's better, no? It's better to wash.
yeah, I'm saying, but some people just get their hands a little wet. The minig of a lot of people to wash their hands. I'm saying,
Because you don't know when you can touch your shoes.
Sure.
I don't know what you're talking about. That you wash with a belly.
Where? Sorry.
According to the draw.
Yeah, for mincha ma'ariv. Really, for mincha.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
That's pretty strong.
Right.
So there's your hand.
Right. Right. Thank you. Right. So the Rebbe would always wash before. No, I wouldn't say bracha. No, I don't think the halakha is that you need a keli. I think it's, but the minig is. If I recall correctly. Someone can correct me.
People even now going with Purell, subway.
Right. Yeah, a lot of places they have like Purell or like something to.
Yes.
I saw like a munkach or something. They have like next to the chazan's thing. It's like. Shomer Shabbos also has it. Yeah. Okay.
Sanitize your hand in case you shake someone's hand.
You have it in pomegranate or something.
Yeah, okay. But also in Ruchnius it means that a person should free himself of all his matters and everything which is stand in front of Hashem. That's the idea. But that's not enough. You need to move on. We don't just stop over there. Now we got to start davening. We need to start saying Hoidu. And we go higher and higher. Just like a ladder. There's four steps in the ladder, which means there's four elumes. Each part of davening presents a different part of davening, and we're going higher and higher out of the Mitzrayim, out of another Mitzrayim, or a higher Mitzrayim, until we come to the Shemona Esrei. And Shemona Esrei, where we hit the top, that he doesn't have at all his existence. He's standing totally nullified like a servant before his master. and he says, Adnai Sifasai Hashem, my master, Sifasai Tiftach, open up my lips. Fiyagi Tilasacha, my mouth will say your praise. Which means I can't open up my lips because I'm not an entity from an independent entity. I am just in your hands, and you're opening my lips for me, and that's how I'm praising you. That's when a person comes to Shemona Esrei, he's
You're nullifying yourself.
totally nullified to Hashem.
So we start off the job and we fill them with the words. You can only say what Hashem puts in your mouth.
Very good. And that's why we see in Shemona Esrei, we see two opposites. On one hand, we see he's just like repeating after Hashem was saying it. He's totally nullified. On the other hand, what's he asking for? He's asking for his personal needs, his physical needs. He's asking for parnasa, he's asking for all these different things. In Psukkah de Zimra, in Birchas Kriya Shema, in Kriya Shema, you don't have all this request for these physical needs. I don't talk about that over there. Why? Because then he's not talking. It makes sense because he's not involved with himself. He's not obsessed with himself. Right now, he's obsessed with God. It makes sense. In Shemona Esrei, but the question is, what comes Shemona Esrei seems to be the highest level. The person's not he's totally nullified. So why suddenly over there are we dealing with the physical needs? It should be the opposite. He says that the answer is that when we go to a higher level, so it's able, at certain levels we go to, it's limited, that it's higher, that it can't come into this physical world. It's spiritual and it's not physical. It's limited that it's only spiritual and it can't come into the physical world. Certain levels in spirituality, a person is totally involved in spirituality, and to be at the same time involved in physical things is a contradiction. Because how could you think about yourself in physical things if you're right now thinking about God and spiritual things? It's a contradiction. That's up to a certain level.
You can ask for things.
Hold on. That's up to a certain level. But there's even a higher level where there's no contradiction between the spiritual and the physical.
Oh.
That the spiritual is able to affect and even in the physical. It's able to even to show that God is gonna make refuah for a chela, even in a physical way, that I can see physically, I can see God. I don't have to be higher than the world in order to see God. Even in my personal life, I could bring down godliness.
Shemona Esrei, you could say.
That's in Shemona Esrei.
Right.
And in Shemona Esrei, we're on even a higher level that it's even able to affect our physical
It comes
things.
together. The physical and
It's not a contradiction.
It's not a contradiction.
yourself leading up to Shemona Esrei.
Leading up to this Shemona Esrei, you have to sort of think more about God. And when you're up to Shemona Esrei, so then you're totally thinking, you reach the level of godliness, that over there's no contradiction between the spiritual and physical.
I sort of maybe what you read is that when you get to part of the Decha Shadecha, if you can chakras, you should not think about receiving sustenance or entering into sustenance at that point. It's not about you over there. So it's just a praise, not asking. Because asking will come from the Esrei.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this is Decha, you ask.
Right.
It's a big part.
Right, which means that we're going to start off and we're going to start asking for what we need. So we're not going to feel so much how that God should give us everything good in order that we should use it for what He needs for the right things.
Yeah, but the brachas of Shachar, there's a Yehi Ratzon there that it says you can insert things that you need God's help during the day. I forgot which one Yehi Ratzon. Wait. No, wait. Here. Sileni. I don't know if I protect me this day every day. And it says, I don't think it says here. I think it says in the regular.
That's what's going to be when Mashiach's going to come. It's going to be Virok Basar. Even our flesh is also going to see godliness. In the physical, we're going to see a table. We're going to see who created it. Now the table says, I'm here because I'm here. Because I decided to be here. Mashiach's going to come. We're going to see the table and say, I'm here because Hashem created me.
I know where it says that.
Right, over here you're saying it talks about some physical thing.
It says, and you can insert your own needs and your own wants.
Good question. I don't know.
Before, yeah.
Valid question. I guess sometimes we need, before even we start davening, we need protection from the Yetzer Hara. They say.
I guess it's more ruknis.
From the cleatures.
It says that Chassidus helps a person from the fight his Yetzer Hara, overcome his Yetzer Hara. So the Mendel Futzefas said a mashal, he said a parable that there was a potter back in the day. There was these governor, I don't know how to say it, of a certain area, which they would rent out kretschmas to the and different estates to Yidden, kretschmas with inns, and they were very powerful.
That's like the waters of the church.
Yeah.
Feudal Lord.
Thank you. Okay.
We were the serfs.
So the parrots would demand you have to pay up, right? So the thing was, this parrots had big dogs, and you couldn't walk to his mansion. You couldn't walk there because the dogs, especially like the Yiddish blood. So the way you would go, you would have to go on a wagon, and this way the dogs couldn't reach. So there was a Yid who was walking towards the mansion. His friend, to go pay up the debts, his friend was also going towards the mansion, but in a wagon. So he tells the one who's walking, he says, come on the wagon. You know, the dogs are going to come get you. So he says, I have a special lachash. I have a special thing to say. Something special I could say, and the dogs are going to run away. Okay? He's walking close. He says, come on. He says, no, I have the special lachash. I'm taken care of. Everything's fine. Coming closer and closer, and suddenly the dogs start coming, and they start barking and ever, and he right away jumps right in the wagon. So he asks him, what happened to your lachash? He told me you had your lachash, you had your special. He said, yeah, I have my lachash and it works. The problem is, the dogs didn't even let me say the lachash, they were so quick. So he's saying, and Mendel said, the Yetzer Hara, the problem is, the Chassidus helps from the Yetzer Hara. The problem is that the Yetzer Hara doesn't even let me learn Chassidus. He's saying in the morning, you say things, keep me away from the Yetzer Hara, from this and that. I can't even start preparing for davening until I need to ask Hashem right away, first thing in the morning, save me from the Yetzer Hara, keep him away. Yeah. Okay, so then he says so we reached the top. The top is Shmoneh Esrei. Totally standing totally novel, like in submission, like a servant in front of his master. But that's today. But tomorrow we have to daven again. You ever wonder why we daven again every day? So we're saying Because however high we reached yesterday, we need to go even higher today.
That's right.
It's a ladder. We have to try. It's a ladder to a higher level.
Yeah.
Davening is like a ladder, but this is a ladder for a higher level.
No.
Just like this, by davening, this is so that however higher a person reaches, he has to realize that it's not enough, because when we go to a higher level, the lower level is still Mitzrayim, it's still connected to the
How
lower.
does one achieve that?
That's a good question. And we're going to discuss that soon. That's going to be the second half of the Sikha. This person, so this is what this is what it says. The Baal Shem Tov said a person sees a donkey of his enemy, which is not managing packages and everything. Platzing. So he has to go help it out. So Baal Shem Tov says, person wakes up in the morning, he has to take his chamer, his donkey, chamer is chumrius, he has to take his gashmi, his himself, and he has to get it ready to travel. Baal Shem Tov also said that the person is going to think that, it's my enemy's donkey, let me not help him out. No, you have to help him out. The person's going to look at his body and say, you're making me too much problems. Let me fast. Let me punish it. No, that's not the way to go. Baal Shem Tov said we have to use our bodies out, make it healthy, and be healthy Jews. Because the only way we're able to serve Hashem is if we're healthy. And we start playing games with our health, so then we're not able to do what Hashem is asking. So the point is not to break our body. The point is to use our body for the right purposes.
That's what's happening during this time.
At that time, it's very common for people to do afflictions and I did such a bad thing. Sometimes a person could think it to himself. He's saying, sometimes did like a terrible thing, chas v'shalom, and he thinks, I don't deserve to eat today. I was so terrible. I don't deserve to eat today. Right? We say, no, that's making a mistake. Now then you have to take care of yourself, and you have to be happy, and you have to do what Hashem wants. Not to start getting down and start taking this whole depressed situation and going, and that's not the way to go.
How does that go for now? We read about big tzaddikim, they used to jump in the ice water, take cold nickel, which was dangerous. They used to constantly be fasting. How does that go for now with that?
So they knew that it wouldn't affect their health, and they were big tzaddikim, and they. But it's not for everyone. There were certain situations and certain stories that tzaddikim told that certain people to do for a tikkun, for a certain thing. But that was certain individuals and certain generations, and I'm not saying there's no such concept, but since Baal Shem Tov's generations, it's now not for us, because we're not strong. And Baal Shem Tov, the Alter Rebbe brings in the Geras HaTshuva, we're reading these days, he says that Rabbi Avraham Lerner who is going to fast, and it's going to affect his learning. So not only is he not doing a mitzvah, he's doing an aveda. It's called a chayta. Imagine him, he's doing a beautiful thing, he's fasting. So it's such a big tzaddik. No, you're not a tzaddik. You're a chayta. You're doing a sin. The person has to take care of his body. That's why the Rebbe will always say that to tell people so many letters that they should eat before davening. Oh, what do you mean? You can't eat before davening. It's halacha. In Zayar, you would think the Chassidus would say, Zayar also says in Yeah, that's if you're sitting and having a party before davening. You're sitting and having ice cream and pizza before davening. But that's not what we're talking about over here. We're talking about if the whole davening he's be thinking, when am I going to have my food? And he's like farchalish, and he's like trying to speed up the davening. So it's not helpful by not eating. He's going to be frum. He's a big tzaddik. He didn't eat before davening. Yeah, but the whole davening he was thinking about the food. So he didn't eat before davening, but the whole davening he was eating because he was thinking about it the whole davening. So
He was eating for davening or davening to eat.
yeah, rather to eat in order to daven than to daven in order to eat. I think it seems superficially what he means, doing what it says in Shulchan Aruch, right? But really, a chassid who is doing the proper. Obviously, not to be abused. I'm saying, but he's doing it for the right reasons, not to have a birthday cake before the davening. But so
The Belsky was before he passed away. He wrote a certain shuvah book. So he said you can have a coffee before you daven, but not a cappuccino.
not a cappuccino. Okay. Yeah, coffee already says so. So a person could say, I worked hard enough and I'm already on a higher level. Who says I have to work harder? It's enough the level which I find myself. It says, no, a person is supposed to be a mahalach. A person is called a traveler. Not someone who's standing in one place. And every day which the Eibishter gives him, there's a purpose why he has that day. And that he should fulfill a special mission for that day. Hashem gave a person a certain amount of time in this world in order to fulfill exactly amount of how much he needs to fulfill his mission. So every day that a person can say, oh, I'm older already, let's retire, there's no point in me anyhow, I could just do nothing, No. So the Rebbe, when people told him to retire when he was 70, they already told him at 80, he says, no, every day which a person has to grow and grow and grow until the last day that he's there. There's no such thing that now, as long as we're here, there's a purpose for every day that a person has. And that's the lesson from Masais, from the journeys, that a person should never be happy from wherever he's holding. So, on one hand, it seems like very demanding. This is like a very demanding message. They're saying that wherever you're holding, I bring Gimel Tamos in Crown Heights, Nassim Gerari and the Fitchafen. So Nassim Gerari was speaking this first half of the Sikha. He wasn't saying it was in many places. He was saying that we saw by the Rebbe, the Rebbe would always tell a person that however much you did, go further. The Rebbe was never satisfied. To find this Shia, double, never satisfied. People came, we did this, we would think amazing things they did. And the Rebbe was like, you know how much more there is to do? Hello,
When he had the campaigns, the Rebbe had campaigns going on. That's, continuous. Like one after one campaign, there was another campaign, then another campaign.
Yeah, that's it.
So it wasn't stopping.
So mitzvah mezuzah,
It wasn't stopping ever.
a mitzvah mezuzah, I think, in Florida, there was a certain place that they said they got 1,000 mezuzahs they put up. Wow, 1,000 mezuzahs! You know how hard they must be working. Rebbe says, how many Jews are in the city over here? Only 1,000. It's like the Rebbe, he saw constantly that Rebbe was always double and everything, things we would think is extraordinary work. So the guy was saying that a certain shliach came into Yeshua. Shliach, he comes in, and the Rebbe says, the Rebbe was sitting back a little bit. The Rebbe was sort of ufka, a little happy, if you could say. And the Rebbe says, I heard from the good night. We're hearing from you good news. Compliment, so the shliach is feeling very good, starts smiling, he's feeling, the cloud nine. The Rebbe told him. Suddenly the Rebbe comes forward, The Rebbe says, and like it's a bang, who is gehört geworden zu sein zufrieden von sich? Where did you ever hear such a thing that a person should be happy, satisfied from himself? Like in 1 second, which.
Or sometimes he would say, and we should continue to hear good news.
And we should continue.
Yeah.
So that was also very encouraging. Also
That was encouraging,
a person should be more and more. The way he was saying it by the Farbrengen was like, it sounded like very demanding and very like, and like people like you feel like, whoa, this is like too much for me. So Fitch Hoffman, right afterwards, he started saying the second half of the second point. He says, it's true. This is all true, that the Rebbe always demanded the person never let them rest. But on the other hand, the person has to know, we also learn out from the Masais, on the other hand, that even when a person finds himself on the lowest level, he's in the dumps. He's not flying high. He's not up there. But a person should never give up hope. Because through working a little bit, could always go out from the situation which he finds himself in and come to the highest levels. A person shouldn't think that since he finds such a low level and every person knows what's going on with themselves, it's a waste of time to even start working a little bit. I'm finished. From this we have the lesson from the travelings, that even with one traveling they left Mitzrayim. How many travelings did it take to leave Mitzrayim? One. They left from Ramses, they went to Sukkot. One traveling. For one travel you could leave from Mitzrayim and come to come out of Mitzrayim. And the Rebbe makes a Kavachemer. You know what Kavachemer is? Which means that if then it was, and for sure now. Why? Because then the Yidden were in Mitzrayim. Where were they? They were in Mentes Shari Tumah. They were in the lowest level. They would be even there 1 second more. They would be in the lowest level. And we're talking about before Matan Torah, which then was before the decree. Was before there was still the decree in effect that the heavens and the earth can't come together. By Matan Torah, and Hashem came down here. And we have a special power from Matan Torah to be able to do what Hashem wants, to bring Ruchnis into our lives. So for sure now, when we don't have really so much work left to do, we have little pachim ktanim, little jugs left, like we said by Yaakov Avinu. He brought everything over, and he went back to get a few jugs left. And we have Matan Torah, and we have a Rebbe, which the Rebbe connects a Yid with Atzmos. The Rebbe gives us special powers. So for sure, every Yid has the power to go out from his situation and to go out of his Mitzrayim and to go out of his Tevra Chava and eventually to bring Mashiach. So you see, this is the other side of it. First thing you say, wow, this is so high, I can't do everything, I can't be so high, so let me do nothing or whatever. So no, every single little thing a person does, that takes him out of his situation.
His personal Mitzrayim.
His person is a small little thing.
Right.
Yeah, what is it? No, that small little thing is already taking you out of your personal Mitzrayim.
Same point, affecting the whole Jewish body,
Yeah?
all people,
Yeah.
giving them that extra.
Yeah.
It's
Sure?
affecting
Yeah.
everybody, giving everybody a little more.
That's why we're collectively, we have to help other Jews. Because we should all grow as a nation
Yeah.
to that level we were talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, God willing, but, that's a big job.
Yeah. I once heard that the Rebbe told someone in Yechidus that when one Jew affects another Jew, you think you're just affecting another one Jew. Really, it's atomic. It's a chemical reaction, atomic action. Every person you make an explosion, you reach everyone who he's connected to, and that makes another reaction, another explosion, on and on. The effects are endless. Say Jonathan Sachs is famous also that the Rebbe he wasn't frum, he was Oxford student in law, I think, and he came to different leaders, and he asked the Rebbe different questions. The Rebbe answered him, and then the Rebbe asked him a question. The Rebbe asked him, "What are you doing for Jewish life in Oxford University?" Now, he wasn't exactly from, and it's a funny question, right? So, but he was an Englishman, and he was trying to be as polite as possible, and like Englishmen know how to construe very polite and proper statements. So he's working on a good one. He started thinking he was going to say that in the situation which I find myself, it's not exactly relevant or possible. So as he started saying, in the situation which I find myself, the Rebbe said that a Jew doesn't find himself in a situation, a Jew puts himself in a situation. So, and of course, we know the end of his story, that he ended up being the chief rabbi in England. He said that the Rebbe, he asked the Rebbe if he should accept it, and he wrote. It was like the Rebbe just didn't like write a letter back. The Rebbe just like just wrote like turned around his forgot what the language was, but he just turned around switched around two of his words. And so basically, yes. That was the way that Rebbe would answer people sometimes. So, we understand also the connection now of Matas Masi to Bein HaMitzarim. We find ourselves now in the weeks of Bein HaMitzarim. Matas Masi is always in these weeks. It says, if a person destroys, he destroys. But if the purpose of destruction is in order to build nicer and better, so then even the destruction is really a part of the process of construction. So too, like the Baal Shem Tov says in the pasuk, that it's a time of distress for the Jewish people, for Yaakov. But from the distress itself, and through it itself, that's where we're going to find salvation. So that's the idea of which we're discussing, that Maseh is where we're going to leave from Mitzrayim. That we're able to go out of Mitzrayim and every level, wherever we are, we shouldn't be nisbala where we are. And Adarabah, from that Mitzrayim itself, that level which we are on, that's to bring us the challenges. In other words, the challenges are there to propel us to go to higher. That's the purpose of the challenges itself, of the Mitzrayim, which a person's in, is in order to bring him, that's the purpose, to bring him to a higher level. And that's what it says, Menachem of. Menachem of, the month is called Menachem of. Lashon Chama, comforting. Because really everything is for good. Like the parable which you have of a father which is hitting his son, which his purpose is for his good. He wants it to turn out good. So when a person thinks about it, that really everything's good. Not only will he understand it, that really everything's good, but through that it's going to cause that everything should really be good, that we should see it in a revealed way, in our fleishik ha'egim, with our physical eyes. Like those which we saw, those stories of those people who we said Gamzu l'teva, Nachum ish Gamzu. So what happened at the end of the story? Not only did he say that everything's really good, because he said that, that's what made that it should be revealed good. And it was even better than it would have been if he would have came with the gems to the emperor to rescind the decree, because he came in with his dirt and he was able to use it to win the wars. So
The dirt of Avraham
the dirt of Avraham Avinu.
came short.
And if he would have came with gems, he has a lot of gold and silver. He doesn't need it. He came with the dirt. That's what saved the day. So he said because he had this positive outlook that everything's gamzul l'tayv, everything's for the good, that actually made that it actually was good. And also the story with Rabbi Akiva. Kol ma'ad avid achmana, whatever Hashem does is for the good. Also by him, because he would say that, and that's what actually happened, that it saved him from the robbers. And this all, and Taka has to be that Hashem says, V'rachas Hashem Asayis B'nisi, and that Hashem is compared to cleaning up the schmutz of the daughter, of the Yidden, of his daughter, so to speak. Like it says in time, the Mashal of a great king, he himself is washing off, cleaning his only son, Soya, cleaning off the schmutz. But nevertheless, it's in a way of chesed rachamim, which means the when he's cleaning it off means that we get a pack sometimes. But nevertheless, it's with chesed rachamim. The Eibishter does it and should be with kindness. That's and like it says over there that the father is somebody who's merciful and a righteous and a chassid. And the main thing is safe. It should come out in a revealed way that from the tzara, we change around the letters of tzara, it's toyhar, comes a light, which means we should see from the galus, we should come and see clearly the geula mitzvah shlema v'karav mamash.
Amen.